don't. You're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome to Sean's show, everybody. Hello, welcome back. If you're a new listener, good day. Hello, thanks for joining. Please, before we get started, join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Sean Show. I know Facebook's outdated. I should just get us on Discord or something. I don't know what the kids use anymore. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, and it's sad. Thanks for joining. Join the Facebook group where you can throw me some questions to make it more interactive. Review the show on Spotify, all the fucking bullshit. You guys know what to do. Like the show, drop a comment, and let's get into it. I mean, it's been probably one of the least eventful weeks in the world. I think, I woke up, it was not a lot going on. It's been a week where there really hasn't. I mean, this is a comedy news show, guys. I really had to dig this week for stories that I thought were big enough and, engaging enough. And that, I really had to dig to get on the pulse of what's going on in America. This is a week where it was a very boring week. We had some diplomatic things. We had a very, very boring State of the Union address by our president and your president and my president, the president, Elon Musk. I'm kidding. Let's get into it. My eyes were glued. My eyes were glued to the State of the Union. The weird thing is, it's not even really a State of the Union. Like that is one thing that I think is very engaging about Donald Trump is he doesn't really other people have said this, but he is a guy that doesn't follow the norms and the traditions in the government. And it also applies to his speeches too. Like I think the State of the Union, I don't know. The State of the Union is once a year, but I think he just talks. He really does just I'm just going to address Congress. I don't need a State of the Union as an excuse to do it. I'm just going to do it. But I mean, it was a fucking shit show. The worst part about Trump's address to Congress, it's not anything he said. It's the fucking standing and clapping. I just can't get over. He goes, I have labeled the cartel in Mexico a foreign terrorist organization. Woo! And they stand and clap for 30 seconds. Some of these applause breaks last 30 seconds. And that's what pisses me off. If Trump actually, I misspoke. If Elon Musk actually gave a fuck about government efficiency, his first order of business would be to stop these fucking politicians from standing and clapping every 38 seconds when Trump says something. Let me ask you guys a question. How many taxpayer dollars do you think were wasted? How much money was spent to pay all of these congressmen and women to stand and clap for 2 hours in the 2-hour speech? It was a 2-hour speech, and they're standing and clapping for an hour and a half. It's insane. It's insanity. It really is upsetting. That was the worst part. Is they're just it's such a fucking circus. And it really and we'll watch a little bit of it just to get, if you guys missed it, but it almost felt like a true crime episode. I felt like when I was watching Trump's address, I felt like I was watching a true crime podcast, because he went up there and he just spoke from the teleprompter, and he goes, "A beautiful young angel was murdered by criminal, illegal alien monsters." And then the next story is like a young 13-year-old kid had brain cancer and he wants to be a cop. I'm just like, how obvious can you make it that you're pandering? How obvious can you make it that you're just pandering to your base? And I thought, I don't know. I like the way that, and again, I don't want to let the Democrats off the hook either. Like it was just such a fucking circus to like see half of the room stand and clap. I mean, honestly, guys, if I was a Democrat in that room, like if I'm a Democratic senator in that room and all these Republicans are standing and clapping every 38 seconds, I'm going to start standing and clapping too, just because prolonged sitting is bad for your health. You know what I mean? I don't even give a shit if I don't have to agree with what he's saying. I'm going to start standing and clapping just to get some cardio in. Because that's really what Trump did. He didn't address the nation. That's not what he did. It was a cardio session for the senators. This was like a spin class. It was a congressional spin class. That's what it was. If you watch it, we're going to watch a little bit of it. Trump, all he was doing was he's saying, and we will deport the migrants. And I want you to stand and clap and really hold it this time. Yeah. I mean, I bet these politicians were fucking sweating at the end of this shit. They were sweating. So I'm glad. I'm glad our politicians are getting cardio. That's the most important thing, because these people are old. They're 70, 89, I don't know, maybe 90, I don't know, probably not, but 70, 80-year-old people. These are like your grandma and grandpa. Grandmas and grandpas run the world. And I think that's what's truly most disturbing, is that the only thing I could think when Trump was addressing Congress is that no one in that room knows how to change the brightness on an iPad. And that is very disturbing. We should all be disturbed by Trump's address to Congress, because no one in that room knows what WhatsApp is. They don't know what WhatsApp is. They're not on Discord. These are not, and that's how you know that these are not the people that are actually running shit in America. Okay? As someone who's lightly tapped into Wall Street, I can tell you that the people in this room, we're going to watch a little bit of it. The people in this room that are standing and clapping, they're 70, they're 80 years old. They are lost. They don't know what's going on in America. They don't know what Discord is. They don't know what a blockchain is. If you don't know what a blockchain is, why are you a congressman? If you don't know what unalived means, why are you in Congress? You should not be in Congress. If you don't know, if you can't explain Mr. Beast to me, I don't want you in politics. You are not tapped into the pulse of the future. You are not tapped into the youth, okay? If you don't know what hentai is, you don't get to be a senator. I'm sorry. I know J.D. Vance knows what hentai is. You know J.D. Vance is into hentai. So I don't know. That was just my initial reactions, but I'm going to pull it up. Let's watch a little bit of it. I think that there are some moments. Honestly, I don't have any timestamps for this. I think we should just I like bouncing around videos. So we're going to bounce around the speech. Guys, it's a 2-hour speech. What possibly could this guy say for 2 hours? I mean, we're going to watch, and you're going to see why it's a true crime podcast / spin class. It's a true crime spin class. So we're going to jump in and let's take a look here.
All throughout the world, because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast.
Okay, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to count the number of seconds that they stand and clap. Okay? Let's watch.
And getting them out fast.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
and I want to thank
11,
Tom Homan
12.
and Christy.
12 seconds. And you know what? I'm going to do the fucking math because I'm a math guy. I'm pretty sure senators make, let's do some math. Why don't we do some math on the Sean Show? Senator salary. $174,000 a year. By the way, it's a part-time job. People don't know this. Being a senator is a part-time job. You like fly in. It's like a vacation. You go into DC and you vote on some shit. And you go to some subcommittee meetings. You drone strike a couple of brown kids and you go home. It's this part-time job. Drone striking kids is a part-time job. But they make a full-time salary. Why do senators make a full-time salary when being a senator is a part-time job? But again, what we're going to do now is I'm going to take the senator's salary, $174,000 annually. Okay? Paid by the taxpayer, right? $174,000. Now, let's assume a 40-hour work week, which is very generous for senators. It's probably more like 2. If you add in all the kid fucking, it's probably 3 or 4. But let's just say 2 hours. Let's say 40. Okay? And what I'm going to do, stay with me. I'm going to calculate the hourly rate for senators based on the annual salary of $174,000. So it's very simple. Annual salary, $174,000 divided by 52. That's $3,346 every week. Okay? Now it's very simple. I'm going to divide that by 40 hours a week. And that's going to give us the effective hourly rate at $174,000 a year before taxes. Senators don't pay taxes, by the way, so I'm not going to add that in. $83 an hour. Okay? Now stay with me. The senators clapped for 12 seconds in that one applause break. We counted. I proved it to you. So $83.65 an hour. I'm going to find out how much that one applause break costs the taxpayer. You ready? $83 an hour. How many dollars is that a minute? Divided by 60 again. We're paying these senators $1.39 every minute. $1.40 every minute. So now let's divide it again by 60. 2.5 cents, 2.023, right? So let's round up because I want it to be funnier. Let's round up to 3. Okay, basically I'll round down so it's a conservative estimate. 2 cents. We pay our senators 2 cents every second. Based on their annual salary, I did the math. Okay? So now let's multiply that by 12 seconds. That's 27 cents. Okay? So every senator in that room is being paid 27.8. Let's round it up. Every applause break is 28 cents per senator. Now I'm going to multiply that by 100 senators. That's basically $27.8. So let's round $28. So every time that the Senate and the Congress does an applause break, it costs the taxpayer $28 for them to clap. Now, again, after doing the math, that's really not that much money, and maybe it's kind of worth. No, I'm kidding. So now, every time they do an applause break, it's $28. We're setting it on fire. Now, this is more money. I feel like I should join Doge. Like, this is my application to Doge. Like, I want to be in Doge, and I want these fucking assholes to stop clapping. Now, again, I made that assumption on a 40-hour work week. If you assume that they're not working 40 hours, this is going to be way fucking higher. It's going to be 40 times higher. So now I'm going to multiply that by 40. It's $1,000, depending on their hourly rate, right? But basically, it's a huge fucking waste of money. The only bigger waste of money is the F-35 program. But truly, seeing these senators clap every 38 seconds, it really upsets me.
I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general.
Oh, I have to find it live on the show here. But there was the Secret Service. There's like a little kid with brain cancer. Okay, here we go. I mean, how is this like, why is this what we should be spending our time on? I truly have no idea.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
It's cute. It's cute. I gotta say, it's cute. Aw. How do you not clap for that? As a Democrat, you gotta clap for the kid that beat brain cancer, right? Like, some of these, you have to clap. Some of these, if you don't, and that's the whole trick, is like, let me cook here. Everything they talked about was like a heartwarming story where if you disagree with it, you're the devil. Like, they talk about a woman who was like brutally murdered, Lincoln Riley. She was brutally murdered. They talk about a kid that beat brain cancer that wants to be a cop. Can I say this? ACAB includes this kid. ACAB includes this kid. Okay? All cops are bastard, including for future cops. No, it's really cool he beat brain cancer. That's great. But let's keep going.
At that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer. Actually, a number of times. The police love him. The police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
No wonder you keep getting shot at. What the fuck? You're gonna make this kid a Secret Service agent? He's like, Mr. President, he's got a gun. Mr. President. Okay, obviously I know he's not a real Secret Service agent, but can we just address the fact that, like, it's utterly insane. It's utterly insane that the Trump administration they're using these heartwarming stories, these women that were murdered, which we'll talk about. This kid that beat brain cancer that wants to be a cop. They're literally just using them for political capital. And that is really the disgusting thing, is they're like, Trump doesn't give a fuck about this kid. First of all, the kid's black. Trump doesn't care about him. I mean, like this is, it's theater, right? It's theater. And I mean, and I know that's like, I don't want to be like biased with this, but like, it feels like, and again, government's always been a circus. And I think that's what people really have to understand is that, yes, this is crazy. Yes, the address to Congress was crazy, but it wasn't any more insane than the history of American government. We have to remember that the history of American government is just as fucking crazy in its own way. And the only real difference is cameras. It's cameras and audio equipment. Truly. Like, and we have a record of this shit and we can watch it live. Like, I think there's this thing where it feels more crazy because it's happening in the moment. But Joe Biden's presidency was crazy too. And there were just, and he, in a lot of ways, he has a lot of similarities with Trump. They use people for political capital that they don't, and then they toss them away. They throw them away. And by the way, I'll say this. This kid beat brain cancer. I don't know. Was he using government health care to pay for those surgeries? I think that Trump is going to get rid of the healthcare services that saved this kid's life. That's what I think. I don't know. So you tell me if this Trump actually he's going to be a Secret Service agent and he's going to be dead because the cancer is going to return and he's not going to be able to get these healthcare services because you're going to cut Obamacare. Again with the clapping. Honestly, they should just give him a gun. At this point, just give this kid a gun and just see what happens. I just want him to give him the kid a gun and just let's see what happens in Congress. Truly, everywhere I jump in the video, guys, it's an applause break. It's
charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's
if you're just listening, I mean, JD Vance always looks like he's about to shit.
it's not just one day was
Like his rest, he is like resting I need to shit face. It's like ugh. He's like always like there's a shit inside of him that has to get out.
Out of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. Young angel.
Here we go.
Disaster.
Here's another story. This is why it feels like a true crime podcast. Truly.
Morning, Lakin was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Lakin was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Lakin's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren.
Now, I saw a lot of comments online about how, oh, it's really sick that the Democrats didn't stand for this one. Stand and clap. And that is truly like the genius of Trump and the entitlement of liberalism. I mean, you have to see, I do believe this. It's like, I think what needs to happen is, this is exactly why Trump won, is because the Democrats can't swallow their pride, because it's very, very sneaky and genius what Trump did. He went, this beautiful young angel was killed by a illegal alien monster after he was released in a Democrat run. He's basically blaming the Democrats for this woman's murder. And, but it looks to a lot, because Democrats they give people too much credit. Democrats give Americans too much credit. Americans are fucking stupid. We're stupid. We are stupid. And so when people watch this and they see the Democrats not standing up and clapping for the family of a murdered a murdered white woman, most of America is like, oh my God, the Democrats are monsters. How could you not stand to support the family of a murdered woman? The Democrats think, oh, well, people know that Trump is using these women as pawns. They don't know that. And so when you don't swallow your pride and stand up and clap, and you're dug in to your hatred of Trump, your hatred of Trump is more. You hate Trump. The Democrats hate Trump more than they want to win elections. They really do. Like, and in a lot of ways, I think these senators on the Democrat side, they want Trump to be president. They want to hate him. It gives them something to do. Because it's always been a circus. It's always been a reality show. And in a very dark place in Democrat senators' minds, I think they want Trump to be president. And I think they want to sit down with their arms folded and scowl at JD Vance. And that is the selfishness of the Democratic senators. It's sad. I mean, and again, I'm just trying to keep it real. Like that. That's kind of the psychology, I think, behind what's going on here. And that's not to let the Republicans off the hook. Like, this is crazy. Like, just using the kid with brain. Like, why are we talking about a kid with brain cancer in Congress? Like, these are just like anecdotes. Like, how are we not running a country based on statistics? Isn't the NSA like an all-powerful evil data center? Why are we wasting our fucking time with this fucking rhetoric about like cherry picking victims of crimes? Who gives a fuck? I'm sorry. Like, I don't wish ill will on anyone. Like, it's sad. But this is anecdotal shit to get the people to believe what you believe. And both sides do it, and it's sick. It's just sick.
Much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of
talk
things
about
are
Ukraine, by the
happening in
way.
the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions
Are
of
you?
Ukrainians
Are
and
you?
Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict
By American weapons.
with no end in sight. The United
Thanks to Lockheed Martin. You know what really? Okay. Here's what the truth of what this is. Here's the truth of Trump's address to Congress in a nutshell right here. This little clip. Ready?
Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight.
Clap. Woohoo! No end in sight. That's great. They should stand. Can someone edit? Can we cut to them clapping after Trump says the Russia-Ukraine war has brutally murdered hundreds of thousands of people with no end in sight? Woo! Like, that's people, like, they're eating it up. Every politician in this room is eating that up. They love it. They love to hear that there's a war going. And again, Trump's gonna run out of this currency pretty soon that he's using, which is blaming the Biden administration for everything. You're already like, what is it? Nearly 2 months, about 2 months into the administration. At a certain point, you're gonna have to take ownership of what's going on in this country. And again, I think it's smart to like hammer the Biden. I mean, if you're a Trump or you're a MAGA supporter, it makes sense to hammer the Biden administration because it deflects from what's going on. But again, a year from now, I mean, there's already rumblings right now about like real Trump voters that are pissed at him because he's not doing any of the things he said he would. Surprise, surprise with a fucking politician. Surprise, surprise. Egg prices are going up. We'll get to the story, but we have a story where Americans are smuggling eggs into America. That's how bad it is. I'm thinking of going to Mexico and getting a bunch of eggs, driving them on a truck I'm thinking of like some narco shit. Narco eggs edition. And the Border Patrol agent is like, "Are you an American citizen?" I'll be like, "Yes." He's going to be like, "Any eggs in the vehicle?" I'll be like, No, just I wanted to go back home." like that's how bad it's getting. So, and the tariffs aren't helping either. So, you have these real economic impacts that are hurting Americans. These real economic impacts from Trump's policies that are affecting MAGA Republican voters in Alabama and Mississippi and Missouri. And we'll see how long the goodwill lasts, right? The market's kind of tipped over a little bit. If you guys follow the stock market, it's kind of tipping over a little bit. So again, we'll see where it goes. But everyone in this room, you know, again, this is just my opinion. Everyone in this room, they want endless war. They want endless war. They love the military-industrial complex. And they don't care about you. They don't care about kids with brain cancer. They don't care about young murdered white women. They don't care about entertainment. You know, all they care about is power, money, power, money.
The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense.
Guess what? I wonder how much of that was contracted through American weapons manufacturers. Probably a whole lot. And I bet you a lot of the Republican senators in this fucking room are shareholders in those companies or sit on the boards of those companies. So fucking save it.
With no security, with no anything.
I can't. We're done with that one. I can't watch it anymore. But you get the idea. So watch it. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't watched it because I will say this about the Trump's address to Congress. It was a great 2 hours of entertainment. I felt something. And that is the power of Trump is he makes you feel an emotion. I felt anger and rage. And zeal, but I felt something, and I think that is really the key to being a good politician is you make everyone feel something. But we're gonna stick to politics. Sorry guys, this one's gonna be a little politically heavy. But I guess what we should cover next is the Zelensky-Trump meeting in the Oval Office. And I mean, if you thought the Trump address was crazy, this shit is crazy. Because it goes well for about most of it. And then it kind of like really falls apart at the end. So we're just gonna watch kind of how it devolves. And it's really and again, I'm not like this, like, you know, I'm trying to keep it balanced here. I'm not this like crazy, you know, blind pro-Ukraine guy. You know, I understand that, like, you know, Ukraine has a Nazi problem. Ukraine has a Nazi problem. Now, I think it's easy to spin that and say, okay, well, if Ukraine has a Nazi problem and America is funding them, then America's funding Nazis, and that's bad. Sure. Like, it's easy to escalate that into, it's easy to say that. Now on the flip side, you know, Ukraine, you know, I don't know. I mean, I believe in the sovereignty of Ukraine. I mean, it's when one country instigates a war with another country. And again, here's the crazy thing. People even disagree on who started the war. And I think that that's a general trend that, like, that's where people actually get divided. I think reasonable people, they become divided over the very simple questions when it comes to geopolitics. Because, for example, Russia, Ukraine, the first thing I think a reasonable person would ask is, who started the war? And depending on where you consume your news, you may think that Ukraine started the war, or you may think that Russia started the war. And that is going to inform the rest of your opinions. So, like, and that's going to inform the way we watch this. It's going to inform the way you see Zelensky and Trump talk to each other. And so with all that being said, Zelensky should have worn a fucking suit to this meeting. It makes him look like an asshole. No, let's watch.
Doing is very disrespectful. You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
You will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position.
I
You don't
was
have the
saying-
cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not
cards.
playing
But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives of
anymore.
millions of people.
You think
You're
you-
gambling with World War
What do you-
III.
what do you think
You're
about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III.
See, I mean, come on. I mean, every politician wants World War III. We're in World War III. People, I think we will look back at history, and it's already started, folks. March 5th, 2025. I think it's started. I think that this is going to be, I feel a decay. I feel a decay in the country. And I think that this is gonna, I mean, this may be the start of World War III. Now, who's instigating it? I don't know. It's complicated. But the way that this devolves is really insane. So we're gonna keep watching. I mean, JD Vance really is a little fuck. He just really is a little fuck.
That's
with
back
all
to
respect
you.
to you.
Far more than a lot of people said
Well,
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
Oh my God,
in this
shut the
entire
fuck
meeting,
up.
You said thank
Even-
you.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Can you shut the fuck up, JD Vance? Have you said thank you even once? No. Like, have you really said thank you even once? Shut the fuck up, you frat bro rapist. You look like a frat bro that rapes. You look like a frat bro that rapes. And your beard is turning gray. Your beard is turning gray. You need to put some hair dye in your beard, and you need to check yourself. You venture capitalist, you VC fucking asshole. You're a VC asshole. You're joining an administration that is railing and raging a war against big tech, and JD Vance is from Silicon Valley. That's the insanity of the Trump administration and the insanity of what's going on. JD Vance is it from Silicon Valley. I'm going to look up his LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, by the way. Follow me at Sean Riley. Just kidding. I'm an investment banker on LinkedIn. Okay. I found something crazy. All right? This is why you watch Sean's show and not all the other bullshit podcasts that pander to either side. You want to know something crazy? And this is how I can prove to you that JD Vance is a fucking dumbass. JD Vance is in the Trump administration, which is waging a war against big tech and wokeism, woke big tech. Well, I did a simple Google search. I typed in JD Vance LinkedIn, and I found JD Vance on LinkedIn. I may connect with him later. Now, you want to know what it says on JD Vance's LinkedIn? Underneath his name, if you're just listening, it's not Vice President of the United States. You want to know what it says? Co-founder and partner at Narya. Now, what is Narya? Let's find out what Narya is. I'm gonna read to you what Narya is. Ready? Narya is an early stage venture capital fund based in Ohio. Bro is literally in Ohio. Bro is literally an Ohio VC. Our vice president is literally a venture capitalist from Ohio, and no one knows, and no one's talking about it. We invest with conviction in exceptional teams solving scientifically based challenges. So he runs a venture capital firm. Investing in. Now, I would like to, and investing, oh boy. JD Vance, I fucking caught you red-handed, bro. How can you sit and say that you're against Silicon Valley and big tech when you own a venture capital firm that invests in a number of Silicon Valley startups with the bullshit names? Amplify Bio, Hollow, Rumble. Branch, Arc Trader. I don't even know who these fucking companies are. But I will tell you that this is the ultimate hypocrisy, is that you run a venture capital firm. Oh, and by the way, you know what's unfair? Why does JD Vance get to be the vice president? That's a full-time job. If you're the vice president of the United States, you should not be allowed to also run a venture capital firm. Fuck you. That's not fair. I can't have two full-time jobs. Why does JD Vance get to have two full-time jobs and I don't get to have two full-time jobs? It's called rules for thee and not for me. But his behavior is just reprehensible.
The war, we've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and not
haven't been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment.
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about we are
If
speaking?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
Accept
times
that
thank
there-
you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
He thinks he's so smart. Bro is literally from Ohio. Yeah, I know he went to Yale Law School, but you can take the man out of Ohio. You can't take the Ohio out of the man. I don't care if JD Vance graduated summa cum laude from Yale Law School. Bro is an Ohio scumbag.
You see, I think
I actually really like Ohio, by the way. If you're listening from Ohio, I love you. I'm going to headline Columbus later on this year, so please stay tuned for tickets.
it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please
you're running
be
low
surprised.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war. But
you're
I
saying you
said-
don't want to
But I
ceasefire.
said to
I mean, I can't. That's enough. That's enough Trump for one episode. Jesus Christ. But he's just all over. He's all over. It's a whirlwind. It really is a whirlwind. I think what I want to do next is let's do something fun. Let's escape a little bit. I want to talk about the Oscars. Hosted by the very funny Conan O'Brien. And I watched a little bit of it, and weirdly enough, I don't know if you guys follow media at all, or I don't know if you guys are I don't know if my audience is movie buffs. I don't know if I have an audience to this podcast. I don't know if Spotify's lying to me about how many people watch the show. Sometimes I feel like a lot of people. Anyway, I digress. I watched the Oscars, and I watched a lot of the movies that were nominated. And one movie that I watched with my girlfriend that was absolutely fucking crazy was Emilia Perez. I don't know if you guys have seen Emilia Perez or know what it's about. But Emilia Perez is a movie, I believe it's a French movie, a French director, I'm not sure, check me on that, but it's a movie about a cartel drug lord, I believe in Mexico, who is a man and desires to transition to woman. Now, this is really a plot to a movie that I've never heard of. I think it's really out there. I think it's fun. When I read the log line, I was like, I think I'm going to love this. It's about a drug cartel lord that wants to transition to a woman. And it's not like he wants to become a woman to like evade the law enforcement. Like he just actually wants to be a woman. Like a real trans woman. Like he's not becoming a woman And then get this, once he becomes a woman, he goes back and he has children. So once he becomes a woman, now she goes back to reunite with her family as an aunt. So the children's father becomes a woman, and then she comes back and pretends to be the children's aunt, but she is actually the father. And then they die in a shootout, and it's a musical, and it sounds like the worst movie ever, and you're correct that it is the worst movie I've ever seen. And, you know, just another reason. I mean, like, I think it's, I want all art to be created. I don't want art to not be made. But this is a movie that really challenged my belief that every piece of art should be made. I really was like this. Halfway through, I was like, I don't know what I'm watching. They literally have a musical about the transitionary surgery from man to woman. And a lot of the trans community fucking hated this movie because it played into a lot of the stereotypes about what a trans woman looks like. Now, I don't give a shit how you feel about any of that on the trans, whatever. It's just so over. I'm tired of talking about it. But Amelia Perez was at the Oscars, and I believe it won some awards. And I recommend you watch it because nothing inspired me more. Amelia Perez, watching it made me realize that I can make art and I can do it. If Amelia Perez can get made, my stupid fucking ideas can get made too. Okay? I don't know how much money they spent on this movie, but it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Some other good movies won, but we won't talk about that. So the circling back around, I want to talk about, speaking of the cartel and smuggling, I want to talk about this eggs story. So let's take a look at this one. This one's crazy. Eggs have gotten so expensive, Americans are smuggling them in from Mexico. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. Desperate Americans are smuggling eggs into the U.S. from Mexico and Canada amid a surge in prices. Rates of egg smuggling have skyrocketed in recent months as the U.S. borders at the U.S. borders as prices spike following multiple bird flu outbreaks. Here's my question: were people smuggling eggs before this? Wouldn't it be more profitable to smuggle drugs? Here's my question: how is smuggling eggs more profitable than smuggling cocaine? If you're smuggling eggs into America, just smuggle drugs into America. I mean, surely a pound of fentanyl is more profitable than a pound of eggs or a carton of eggs. But that's how bad it's getting. I guess there's a bird flu that's going on that's murdering all these chickens. I feel bad for these chickens. At the El Paso border station in Texas, agents identified more than 90 people. Listen to this shit. Let me read it from up top. This is crazy. Listen to this shit. At the El Paso border station in Texas, agents identified more than 90 people, quote, attempting to import raw eggs from Mexico between January and February this year. Likewise, the National Post reports that officials at the Detroit-Windsor crossing at the Canadian border have seen a 36% increase in, quote, interceptions of eggs compared to last year. Show me the fucking eggs! Give me the eggs now, goddammit! Now, imagine being a border patrol. I would love to be there and see the Border Patrol. I mean, this is a sketch. This is a comedy sketch. Seeing the Border Patrol agents in El Paso driving around in their Border Patrol trucks, talking about the eggs. What do you think, Agent Ramirez? I don't know. The eggs are crazy. Is that Mexican? I don't know. What do you think? Now, not. I mean, they're probably drinking beers on their break in El Paso, and they're like, "What do you think, Agent Johnson? Do you think? I mean, isn't it crazy how many fucking eggs are traveling across the border? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know, I understand that this truck last week, 50 cartons of eggs coming from Mexico into the United States. And I'll be goddamned if I'm letting another Mexican egg get into the American states of America. I'll be goddamn. Like, is that what these Border Patrol agents, like, is that where we're at now? Is the Border Patrol agents are in El Paso and they're like, I'll be goddamned if a fucking immigrant is going to bring in Mexican eggs. Well, we got eggs ourselves in our goddamn country. Like, is that where we're at? Did you hear that our schools are buying Mexican eggs? They're making our kids eat Mexican eggs at school for the school lunch. What the fuck? That's crazy. In February, thieves stole 100,000 organic eggs from a business in Pennsylvania. Ad blocker. God fucking damn it. Hold on. Oh my God. My eggs were blocked. They blocked my eggs. Oh my God. I lost my... Okay, here we go. In February, thieves stole 100,000 organic eggs from a business in Pennsylvania valued at some $40,000. A crime police suggested was triggered by rising costs. So the eggs are getting so expensive that now criminal organizations are stealing the eggs in bulk. A series of restaurant chains, including Waffle House and Denny's, have instituted an egg surcharge in response to our country's fucked. You understand? If you can't go into Waffle House and get an omelet without paying for an egg surcharge, our country's fucked. Do you know, I've been to Waffle House. Do you know what happens when you upcharge Waffle House customers? They slit your throat with a rusty pocket knife. They go into Waffle House, they pull out their pocket knife, they smoke a bowl of meth, and they slit your throat. And they go, I ain't paying more than $1 for a goddamn egg. And I'm right there with them. If I can't go into Denny's and get an egg sunny side up for a reasonable price, I'm going to self-immolate in front of Denny's. And I'm going to scream, bring egg prices down as my flesh burns to death, as my flesh burns and falls off my bones. You know, it's one thing to self-immolate for a political cause. It's another thing to self-immolate for eggs, which I would do. I'm gonna self-immolate for eggs. So it's you know, again, I'm not wishing for the demise of America. I'm not rooting against Trump. But I'm just telling, I really do try to tell it like it is. And it looks like the market's tipping over. And I think some people are starting to get mad. I think that some people are starting to get mad. I think that there's a lot of Republicans that work in the government that's being killed by Doge. There's a lot of, tariffs that are coming in that are hurting American businesses. And I'm a little worried, you know? And, you know, if there's one thing that you guys can take away from this episode, it's that JD Vance is from Ohio. We cannot forget as a country that JD Vance we cannot forget as a country that JD Vance is from Ohio. He's a venture capitalist. He does not care about you. He does not care about receiving thanks. And you know what? One takeaway. This is a message for all my listeners. You haven't said thank you once since I started this episode. You haven't said thank you once. So how about you say thank you and then we can move forward? No. All right, guys. That's the show. I want, don't click away. Do not click the X. Like the video on YouTube, for the love of fucking Christ. It really helps. Leave a comment on YouTube. Review the show on Spotify. Give me a rating out of 5 stars. And join the Patreon where I talk more shit with you guys. And join the Facebook group. Links for everything is in the description. If you do one of those things, it means the world to me. Every time someone doesn't join the Facebook group, I have to slit another vein on my wrist. So, thank you very much. Have a great week. And I would recommend you stock up on some fucking eggs. I'm going to do the same. We'll see you next week. Bye.